All right, last night was amazing. Trump wasn't on stage, but a lot of his folks were there. I was able to speak with not just them, but some real movers and shakers in the game. First up, Chris Savita, the president's top strategist. He was there last night. President Trump was not here on the stage. His team is here. His top guy is here in the spin room. How did your guy do tonight? We were expecting a lot of attacks. What do you think of what they said?
Well, it's amazing. I think that, President Trump's decision not to attend the debate was probably validated in the first 25 minutes of the debate. And then at the end of the day, when you add it all up, this was the day Ron DeSantis' campaign died, and not even being here, Donald Trump won.
So let me ask you this strategically. Explain to people, President Trump's not here. I've said very publicly, I think it would be stupid for him to be here. Yes, a lot of these folks needed a name tag to be identified. Right. President Trump's okay. Right. But why are you here? You're his top campaign aide, Jason Miller, standing behind us. Why did you guys want to be here and have surrogates in the spin room as opposed to just letting these guys have their night?
Well, even though the president wasn't here, he had hundreds of volunteers outside, rallying at 4 a.m. and getting people lined up for morning shots. So we have a presence everywhere, all the time. And in terms of, having top, staff at the campaign, we're here to convey the message, and we're also here to set the record straight, and we're also here to put hits. Quite frankly, to make sure that our opponents know that, anything they say is going to,
Tonight, at the security entrances, there was a sheet that had Jason Miller, one of your communications folks, and it said, "Do not let anyone from Trump campaign in."
Justin Capioli had his name on there.
Yep. What does that say that they wanted to bar you from coming in?
So,
what do you think about?
They had a picture,
right,
like a mugshot picture, and it was like a terrorist watch list, and it was done by, the security contract. The security company was contracted by, we believe, by Fox, and it said, if you see something, say something, and,
right.
and it had these pictures of, do not provide access, and it was also to Vivek's campaign, anybody associated with Larry Elder,
right,
and then of course, our top communication staff. I'm quite frankly, I was a little disappointed that my name wasn't on there, but probably after
we'll get
tonight.
You on there.
Oh no, after tonight it will be.
But
then they blocked us access into the spin room.
Right.
After they gave us, they were denying, Matt Gaetz, Congressman Gaetz from Florida, they wouldn't let him in.
So how did you get in?
We went around the other way, and I came in the other way.
There's a will away. This is the Marine in
yes.
But do you have any ill will towards Fox or how they handle that?
Well, I'm not happy. I think we're all disappointed in the fact that that someone is closely associated with Fox or has a responsibility that's entrusted to them by Fox would single out senior members of a presidential campaign, and by the way, the front runner for president, the former president's top communication staff, single them out and attempt to deny them entry into a public event. This is an issue we're not going to let go. They're going to have to answer for it.
So one last question, then I'll let you go. Tomorrow, the president's going to be in Fulton County, Georgia.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying this is counter-programming. You guys are here. What do you read into? Is the president just turning himself in, or is the timing specifically to suck the oxygen out of any response?
Well, it had to be done before Friday.
Right. It could have been done today or Friday.
And I can promise you, if we wanted to counter-program it, we'd have done it tonight.
Okay. All right, Chris Savita, good to see you in Milwaukee.
Sean, great seeing you.
All right, it wasn't just his top aide, Chris Savita, was there. His son, Don Jr., was also there. He spoke to us for a little while. Let's see what he says. Don Jr., you're here. Your dad's not. What do you think tonight?
Listen, I think my father made the right call. He won the debate, and he didn't even have to show up. The only person that had to actually perform was Ron DeSantis, and he failed miserably. He was a wallflower. He literally regurgitated Trump policy to try to make it like it was his own. How many times did he just say a nation in decline? Guess who said that years ago? Trump's been using that for years. He's not capable of original thought. The reason we've seen the decline in Ron DeSantis' campaign is because it was great when he just had influencers clipping 5 seconds of him dunking on some local reporter in a small town in Florida. Now that you're the big guy on the stage and actually having to perform, you realize there's not an original thought. There's no original policy. Vivek destroyed him. everything was so forced and robotic. And worst of all, Sean, for anyone who's watching who understands what's going on in the world as it relates to weaponization, if you have to do this, look around to see if you'd actually do something about it. Let me see which way the wind's blowing. Vivek had it right. Which way is it going to go today? Oh, I'll do that. Which way does Jeff Rowe tell me I can answer a question, or one of my billionaire donors? That's what we saw from Ron DeSantis, and I think this was the end of his campaign.
So there's a lot of people in the Democratic movement that I think are trying to change the game through a conviction of your father. How concerned are you guys? I think that this is the ultimate Dem plot, is to say to Republican voters, this guy's going to be in jail, he's going to be convicted despite indictment after indictment, hardening the base, hardening support for your dad. Are you guys at all concerned about the legal? Because here's why.
You've been there for a while. Listen,
but here's the difference. Here's the difference. In a D.C. court of law, it doesn't matter what your dad has not done.
Eventually, it'll go to the Supreme Court, and they'll do they'll do what's right. They'll actually follow the law. But that's the point. We're in a fight where we're playing a different game.
Right.
The people on that stage don't get that. They're playing T-ball while the Democrats are playing hardball. Yes. The Democrats want to jail their political opposition right now, but 750 years. Trump is a young and vibrant guy. We would both agree. 750 is a long time, okay? But that's what we don't understand. We pretend they're decent people. We think they're going to try to abide by the Constitution. They could care less, and they laugh that we think they care.
Exactly.
It's a different ball game. The people of America understand that. They know that Trump's the only guy that's actually delivered on all of the promises all these guys make. Everyone promises to move the embassy in Jerusalem. Yeah, everyone, they're going to get peace in the Middle East. Sure, it's been a promise for decades. Who's the only guy that actually delivers? Energy independence, keeping inflation down, job creation across every demographic. Trump actually did that. For everyone else, it's a talking point.
Yep. Don Jr., thanks for catching up.
Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, well, Trump's campaign team was optimistic. DeSantis' campaign team was also speaking very highly of how their candidate did. His campaign manager, James Uthmeyer, spoke to us as well. James Uthmeyer is the campaign manager for Ron DeSantis. How did your guy do tonight?
I think he was the clear winner. He shined above the rest. It seemed like everybody else is really fighting for third place. We were expecting a lot of attacks.
So when you say fighting for third place, you believe your guy is now square at second, and everyone else tonight was fighting for third?
I think it's definitely a horse race. I think it's Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis. Everybody else was kind of fighting in the mud, and he was the guy that looked like a president, strong and confident.
What lines do you think stood out tonight for you that the governor gave to Republican voters?
I think his answers on immigration were most important. Border security is a top issue for Republican voters. He made it very clear that he will take action day one. He'll declare a national emergency. He'll send troops to the border. He will actually finish the wall. And if the cartels are fighting their way in, he's willing to use lethal force. He'll stop them.
There was a memo that came out from the super PAC supporting Governor DeSantis that laid out 4 things. Defend Trump, talk about the family a little. I didn't see him lean into that. Was that by choice? Was that something that you prepared the governor for? Was it something that he was never going to do in the first place? How do you guys, like I said, a lot of people were trying to figure out how that memo would play into the strategy.
Sure. So first of all, as he's already said, that memo, that wasn't internal, wasn't a campaign memo. He didn't even look at it.
The super PAC.
Pushed it to the side.
Right.
Really, he focused on the issues and he talked to the American people.
Well, if you enjoyed this content, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get more.